And they may not be leading the national polls, but some of the lesser-known GOP candidates have certainly been making some headlines. Dr. Ben Carson clinching the top spot in this weekend's Southern Republican Leadership Conference straw poll. Senator Rand Paul, his filibuster over the Patriot Act last week into the weekend. Meanwhile, potential candidates like Jeb Bush and Scott Walker sitting on the sidelines a bit. So who's in better shape right now in the fight for that nomination? Joining me now, our political panel, radio talk show host and Fox News contributor David Webb, senior congressional correspondent of the Washington Examiner, David Drucker, and Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Here on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
David, you know, what's interesting is that a lot of people dismiss Dr. Ben Carson. He wins this straw poll. In the latest Fox poll a couple weeks back, he was tied with Jeb Bush at 13%.
Yeah, he's got that early new, it's like that new car smell, that new politician smell to him.
That wears out, though.
Yeah, and it does. And I was just in Oklahoma City last week talking to people about this leading into it. He's going to get attention, and being the headliner didn't hurt him at all because he filled in. Look at who came out on top. Ben Carson over Ted Cruz, who was supposed to be the headliner. I'm more interested in the issues because straw polls, as you and I have talked about in the past, really aren't a statistical measure. When you look at on the issues that matter to Oklahoma residents, you've got 46% choose national security as the top issue.
Top issue who voted in that straw poll.
Right, 39.6% economic, only 14.4% social issues, and 85.2% of this 72% Oklahoma crowd support lifting restrictions on exporting oil and natural gas. The issues that matter to most Americans are still the issues that carry in these meetings.
But David Drucker, how do you explain that if national security is the top of the wish list of these folks who voted in the straw poll, they go with Dr. Ben Carson, who you can say a lot of great things about him, but national security experience, he doesn't have any?
No, he doesn't. But I think what you're looking at right now is the fact that most primary voters on the Republican side are open and they're shopping. And you've been on the trail. As I've been out there talking to people, what I've found most interesting is they've excluded very few candidates. They may have said, I have a problem with this candidate for this reason. I'm not sure about this candidate for that reason, but I really just want to find the best nominee and the best potential president. And so what everybody has going for them at this early stage is they have a chance to make a good impression. And if they take advantage of that, once we get into the real campaigning, and by that I mean field work and ads and all of that, they might have a chance to hang around.
Let's get a non-David in here. Jessica, we got two Davids.
I actually agree with the Davids.
Oh, you agree with them, and you like to see Republicans fighting. Rand Paul taking over the Senate floor, fighting Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, but he's trying to strike that balance there between national security but also protecting privacy rights with the NSA.
I think it's a great place to be for Rand Paul. I mean, he's not earning any friends on the Hill, but he doesn't need to win the Hill, right? He needs to win the country. And Democrats and Republicans, a lot of them feel the same way that Rand Paul does about it. I think a little bit of it is for show. I don't doubt his sincerity, but he's certainly out there. He's in campaign mode. He's declared. He wants it. But I want to add on to what the Davids were talking about and say that I think it's completely right. You know, 85% of Americans want to see a fresh face in politics. And Ben Carson is a fresh face and a competent one, smart, he's well-spoken, and I mean,
let's go down the table real quickly, 15, 20 seconds each. I'll start with you, Jessica, to make sure we get you in, and not just the Davids. Hillary Clinton, you're a Democratic strategist. She finally spoke to the media this week. I was there with her in Iowa. Is she turning the page? You say voters want somebody new. She's not somebody new.
No, she isn't. I mean, I think that Hillary Clinton, well, also you're looking at a Democratic side. We don't have a real challenger at this point who's out there. I enjoy listening to Bernie Sanders. I think he's doing something important, but it's not going to be Bernie Sanders. I mean, I think that Hillary needs to get out there more. I think that she actually needs to talk about Benghazi more and get in front of that panel sooner rather than later.
David Drucker, those emails on Benghazi, was there anything in there that's damaging?
I think the fact that this is a drip, drip, drip. Here's what's important about this. It's about her recent record as Secretary of State. As David mentioned, foreign policy could be a huge factor in the election. And if she gets dinged on that, and we're still talking about this a year from now, that could be very good news for the Republican Party.
David Webb, real quick.
I say we take foreign policy to the reality for all candidates, which is no one goes in there knowing as much as they think. So everybody tries to burnish their credentials. Hillary Clinton's detriment is going to be that drip, drip, drip that will hurt her because it will remove it, but she's not stopping. Hillary Clinton is not going to stop.
Great to have you on Memorial Day. David,
Jessica.
Yeah,
good to see you all.